Today is what would have been my firstborn son's 24th birthday. And even though he's no longer here physically, this day holds life for me, even if it carries grief. So if my voice sounds a little steady at times and shaky at others, that's just the truth living in the same body, right? So when my son was born, he was a preemie, which means the story didn't start with balloons and pictures and taking him home. It started in the hospital. Um, so machines and NICU and IVs. He went through surgeries, um, and beeping sounds you learn to hear in your sleep. And during that time, I was in college, um, and I had to learn a whole new language overnight, medical terms and procedures and risk and, you know, having to pump milk and give it to the nurses. And I remember like the only thing I wanted to do was be a mom and hold her baby and protect him, right? And what I remember most about that time is not just how much he went through and how much I saw him go through at such a young age, but it was how much I went through quietly, right? So I kind of want to speak from that place today because there's something lonely about living in survival mode. Because when you're focused on keeping someone alive, you don't have time to explain yourself. You don't have time to defend your choices. And sometimes you don't even always have time to process your feelings. And on top of the fear, on top of the exhaustion, on top of the love and worry, there were comments. Not always meant to hurt, but they did. There were questions about why I was always at the hospital, why I was never, at least during that time, I didn't really go out and party, and, you know, why I didn't just let the nurses or the doctors handle things, right? Enjoy being um, young while the professionals take care of my son. And there were a lot of questions about why I showed up the way I did. And I remember thinking, none of this is about him. And none of this is about love. It was about people being uncomfortable with devotion they couldn't imagine carrying themselves, right? And I didn't have the energy to correct ignorance. I didn't have the bandwidth to educate people. I had an assignment. My job was to show up for my child, right? Period. And so I had to learn how to take things on the chin. Not because they didn't hurt, but because my focus mattered more than my feelings in that moment. And we're not talking about a couple months. We're talking about a year and a half, right? And that's something nobody really prepares you for. The way strength sometimes looks like silence. The way love sometimes means swallowing words. The way staying focused can feel so isolating, but very necessary, right? And I want to say this clearly. Doing something alone doesn't mean you were abandoned. Sometimes it means you were trusted with something sacred, right? You see, grief is strange like that. It doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it sits quietly next to you while you live your life. You can smile and still grieve. You can laugh and still miss someone. You can move forward and still carry love for what was. Grief doesn't disappear. It integrates. It becomes part of how you love, part of how you see people, and part of how you choose what matters and what doesn't. And I've learned that staying focused, like truly focused, is one of the most powerful things a person can do. Focused on your child or your children, focused on your healing, and focused on what you know to be true. Even when you're misunderstood, even when you're alone in it, even when people say things that reveal more about them than about you. So, today, I honor my son. I honor the version of me who showed up as best as I could every day. Tired, scared, but devoted and determined. And I honor anyone listening who has had to stay focused when nobody else understood why. And if that's you, you're not weak. You're not wrong. And you're not alone in this moment. Some of the strongest love stories are lived quietly. But they are no less real. So, today, I want to say thank you. For the life of my son, Malachi Jamal Moore. The one who taught me focus, what it really means to be determined and selfless, patient. Thank you for sitting with me today. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Until next time, I love you all. Peace.